My name is Sheena, and this is a power flow yoga class. I always like to um, say that it would be preferred if you have a little bit of yoga practice going on, maybe level 1 or 2. But if you don't, that's okay as well. I will offer some modifications throughout the class today. Generally, with the power flow classes, I like to go a little bit faster, but you can always take any kind of resting pose or maybe even challenge yourself as well to continue. So you can first, we'll start in a comfortable seated position, maybe in a lotus pose, or maybe even sitting like me on your shins. And go ahead and close your eyes. Allow everything to just relax. So allowing your face to relax, your mouth, your lips. If the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, go ahead and release it. Rolling back the shoulders, letting them drop, letting the arms become heavy, and placing your hands either on your thighs or on your knees. So before we get into any breathing practices here, let's just analyze ourselves. Take a inventory of our body. We'll scan starting from the crown of our head and go all the way down until we reach the tips of our toes. So with this, maybe just paying attention to how we're feeling in certain areas. Maybe there's some tension. Maybe everything feels pretty good. Once we get to the tips of the toes, we're going to reverse that awareness and bring it all the way back up to the crown. And let's do that scan one more time, starting from the crown all the way down to our toes. And then once we get to the toes, let's go ahead and reverse. Once we get to the crown of the head, we're going to go ahead and take a deep inhale through the nose. Now, once you do this inhale, the idea here is to draw the belly, the air from the belly, and then moving up. Okay, so we're going to inhale, bring it up, hold it at the top for about 3 seconds, and then exhale through the mouth. Let's do that at your own pace a few more times. And with this breathing, try to imagine if anything that's kind of hindering you from being absolutely present in your body right now, you're going to go ahead and release that with the exhale. You'll notice also with that kind of breathing, it kind of massages your belly. I don't know if that's just maybe me, but when I do that deep inhale and I draw in my belly, it kind of massages those organs there. But maybe it's just me. So we're going to try a different breathing. We're going to breathe in through the nose, inhale, and this time we're going to exhale through the nose. And this is a really deep cleansing breath. It actually, if you focus more on the exhalation, is kind of digging up those toxins that's at the bottom of the lungs. So depending on how deeply you're breathing, you can really do a lot of cleansing work with the lungs here. So inhale through the nose once again, and then exhale through the nose. And we'll do a few more at your own pace. Now, I could go a little bit more into breathing here, and that can take some time, but I want to kind of go ahead and get into the practice. But at your own time, you can try these these rhythmic breathing techniques just alone. That'll help you with your practice as well as strengthening the lungs. So, throughout the practice today, you can either exhale through the mouth or the nose. If you exhale through the mouth, that's going to cool you off if you tend to build up too much fire. And when you exhale through the nose, that's going to help you build the fire in the core. So today we're going to start the class a little bit differently. We're going to go ahead and start with the inversion to kind of build up the energy. If you are uncomfortable with this, you can always stay in child's pose. So I'll show you child's pose first. If you want to come to the end of your mat and then go ahead and bring your knees to the outer edges. You're going to go ahead and fold forward. So continuing to keep the tailbone on top of the heels, but extending the hands all the way out, forehead to the mat. Here in child's pose is a good opportunity to gain length. So you should be reaching those arms all the way out, stretching out your back. If you want to start with an inversion, let's go ahead and interlace our fingers together, bring them in front of you, and then bringing the crown of the head down to the mat wherever is comfortable for you. We're going to lift through our toes, pushing through the shoulders. We're going to walk the feet closer to our body, and here do a small exercise, lifting the right leg all the way up, and then bringing it back down to the left. And then extending that left leg all the way up and then bringing it all the way down. And here, if you want to try, let's go ahead and lift that right leg all the way up and gently push through those left toes. And we're going to come to a headstand. Now here, you'll bring the legs together. You can squeeze the thighs here, squeeze the butt, point the toes toward the ceiling, bring the belly button in, and just hold. Again, here you can also focus on your breathing. You don't want to hold your breath. If you are in headstand, let's go ahead and come down. So you can go ahead and open the legs up, pushing the hips back. You're going to go ahead and slowly bring the feet all the way down to the mat. Go ahead and bend the knees and come all the way down, and we'll meet in child's pose. So let's go ahead and do an inhale. We're going to roll forward. So we're going to come up from this child's pose, and we're going to lean all the way forward, bringing the chest forward, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. So we're kind of in a high cobra here, bending the elbows into the body. And then we're going to go ahead and push ourselves back to child's pose. So let's do this at your own pace, just kind of warming up the body here, your own rhythmic movement here. Inhale, rolling forward, keeping that chest open. Exhale, coming all the way back to child's pose, and continue to do this. And whenever you're ready, we'll meet back into child's pose. And then, so what we want to do, we're going to kind of roll forward. So keeping the palms down to the mat, we're going to bring our upper body, so our shoulders and our chest, we're kind of going to glide forward and then bring the chin and chest all the way down to the mat. Hips should continue to be high. And then we're going to extend the arms all the way out in front of us. If it's in your practice here, you can go ahead and push off the toes, lifting the knees off of the mat. So this is good for your lower back. Let's go ahead and bring the palms back to our shoulders and push ourselves all the way back to child's pose. And we'll do this 3 more times. So go ahead and glide forward, bringing the chest and chin to the mat. Curling the toes under, extending the arms all the way out. Inhale, bring the palms back to the shoulders, push yourself back to child's pose. Inhale, roll forward, chest, chin to the mat. Curl the toes under, extend the arms all the way out in front of you, palms flat to the mat. Inhale, bring those palms back to the shoulders and send yourself back to child's pose. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and come forward on all fours, so a tabletop position here. And then we'll do a couple rounds of cat and cow. So for cat, we're going to inhale and send the upper part of our back to the ceiling, keeping the arms straight. Exhale, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone all the way up. The last to come up is the head. And go ahead and do this a few times at your own pace. And if you want to add any kind of organic movements to this, you can. So that would look like sending the hips all the way back to the heels, making circles. If you're going to do this, make sure you reverse your circle. And also, this is a great opportunity to stretch out the wrist, which we use a lot when we're doing chaturanga or any kind of inversions. So I always like to rotate my fingertips toward the outer edges of the mat and then rotate them toward my body. I sometimes bring in my knees and I sit back on my heels, stretching out my wrist a little bit more. Another option too is to just sit all the way down and bring the arms all the way up. And then make really tight fists with your fingers. So wherever you are in this movement, we'll meet back into that tabletop position with a neutral back. And then we're going to curl our toes under and lift the knees off the mat and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then go ahead and release. Take a deep inhale, lift the knees up one more time for 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring them down. Inhale, let's lift the knees up one more time. Send the hips back to the heels, pushing the mat away with your palms. And then with awareness, let's go ahead and push our hips all the way up, opening up the back of our legs to our first downward dog. So once you're in this downward dog, let's go ahead and walk it out. So bending the right knee, left knee. In downward dog position, really important, arms straight. Your fingers should be webbed, spread out. If it's possible, drawing that belly button in, and then your heels should be pulling toward the mat. In a perfect world, the feet will come all the way down to the mat. Sometimes I shorten my distance to try to achieve that, but we really should be having length in that downward dog. So on your next inhale, let's go ahead and bend the knees. Look at your knees, and then rotate and look at your thumbs, and then hop, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. So with the halfway lift, fingertips can come down to the mat, or you can bring them to your shins. Your back should be straight, and then your hips should be basically rotating, coming up. The feeling should be as if you're leaning forward and you may fall, but you won't. You'll catch yourself. Exhale, fold, bring the chest to the thigh. And with the fold here, this is one of my favorite poses because it works so much and it feels so good on the upper back and the hamstrings. With this, the chest should come to the thigh. If you can't keep your legs straight, just go ahead and bend the knees. And that also works as well. The crown of the head should also be pointing toward the floor. Inhale, come all the way up slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. And then bring the arms all the way up, fingertips to the ceiling. So here, this is a very active pose. We're going to come to mountain. So go ahead and release the arms and bring the arms just to the sides of your body. So in mountain pose, all 4 corners of the feet should be flat to the mat. Your pelvic area should be pointing down and forward. You're drawing the belly in, shoulders rotated away from the ears, chest is open. And the hands can be open as well. So with mountain pose and any kind of pose that you do in yoga, this is kind of like the foundation. So when you're doing a high plank or a low plank or even a handstand, your body should be aligned. Everything should be stacked. upon each other. That helps prevent injuries. So inhale, let's go ahead and bring those arms all the way back up, stretching the fingertips up to the ceiling, gaining length here. We're going to exhale and do a back bend. So keeping the thighs really strong, the butt really strong. We're going to open up the chest and lean back. Exhale, fold. Bring the chest down to the thighs, and then let's go ahead and interlace our fingers behind us. Bringing the chest to the thigh, we're going to open this up and fold forward. Inhale, palms come down to the mat. And the next series of movements is chaturanga. So we're going to be in a high plank here. With the high plank, make sure your shoulders and wrists are aligned, arms are straight. Your pelvic area should be, again, it should be rotated going down and forward. So make it look like you got a flat booty. Then what you're going to do is roll forward and then bending those elbows, squeezing into the ribs. You're going to come to a low plank. Inhale, bring the tops of the feet down to the mat, open up the chest, roll the shoulders away. You're in up dog. And then you're going to push yourself back to downward dog. Take a few breaths here. This is Sun A. And whenever you're ready, bend both knees. Look at your thumbs. Hop, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Fingertips stretch all the way to the ceiling. Exhale, back bend. And then we're going to come all the way down a forward fold, interlacing the fingers behind us. Inhale, palms come down to the mat and chaturanga. Once you're back to that downward dog, we're going to go ahead, bend the knees again. Look at the thumbs. Hop, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And then back bend. Exhale, fold. Interlace the fingers behind you. Chest to thigh. Exhale, palms come down to the mat and chaturanga. All right. So as soon as we're in downward dog, we're going to let's go ahead and lift that right leg all the way up. Bending that right knee, go ahead and take a look under your left armpit and see if you can see your right foot. Flexing that right foot, let's go ahead and flip this over if it's in your practice. Bring that right foot all the way down, and then we're going to lift the hips all the way up to the ceiling, extending that right arm out. You can stay in downward dog if you'd like. Let's go ahead and release this, bringing the right hand down to the mat, and then we're going to rotate those hips and send that right leg all the way out. Lifting the left fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Let's go ahead and bring the left palm down to the mat, curling onto or coming up on those left toes. We're going to send that right leg all the way back up to a three-legged dog. Let's go ahead and bend the right knee and then go ahead and bring that right foot all the way forward. We're going to come up to Warrior Two. So with Warrior Two, we're going to bring that left foot flat, pointing toward the front of the mat. The left side of the mat. Let's go ahead and bend that right knee, give it a generous bend, and open up the arms, like basically airplane. Not airplane, no. So rotating the shoulders away from the ears, we're going to go ahead and straighten that right leg. Your gaze should be just over that right middle finger. Let's go ahead and flip that right palm up to the ceiling and then lift the arm all the way up and over. So this is a reverse warrior. Inhale, bring your arms back to center. And then we're going to bring those right fingertips all the way down to the mat. Left fingertips go all the way up to the ceiling. Inhale, bring your arms all the way back up to center. And then we're going to rotate that right foot the same direction that left foot is. And then we're going to do a side lunge. So bringing the palms to heart center, let's go ahead and bend into the right knee, coming all the way down to the mat. And we're going to play around with each hip here. So let's go ahead and staying low, don't come up. We're going to go ahead and bend into the left knee and then go back to the right. If you can keep your feet flat to the mat, that's great. If not, that's okay too. So then we're going to come all the way up this time to a wide leg fold. So bring the toes kind of like you're pigeon-toed, keeping that forward fold. Bring your hands to your waist, keeping the back flat or straight. Exhale and fold. So here you can stay in this position if you'd like. Maybe extend your hands out to your ankles, or if you want to go for an inversion, you can do that too. Two type of inversions here. You can interlace the fingers and then bring the crown of your head down, bending the knees if you need to, and bringing the feet off of the mat. Bringing the legs all the way together. Again, squeezing the thighs, squeezing the butt, drawing the belly in. And when you're ready to come down, opening up the legs, sending the hips back, and then slowly bringing your feet all the way down to the mat. If you're in wide leg fold, go ahead and stay. For the other inversion, if you want to try a handstand, then you would want to bring your palms flat to the mat. Arms super straight, bending the knees again here, and then pushing up. And you don't have to stay in the handstand. Maybe you just do a couple kick-ups just to see, to test out your balance. So let's go ahead. If you're in, we'll all meet in a wide leg fold. Let's go ahead and bring our hands to our waist. Inhale, halfway lift, and then come all the way up. We're going to rotate that right foot back to the front of the mat. Bring our arms out, put a bend in that right knee, so we're back to warrior two. And then we're going to windmill our hands down to the mat. Right foot goes back. We're in a high plank, and then we're going into chaturanga. So we're going to do the same thing on the left side of our bodies. Let's go ahead and extend that left leg all the way up. Let's go ahead and bend that left knee. Look under that right armpit and see if you can see that left foot. Flexing the left foot, we're going to bring it all the way down to the floor behind us, opening up to wild thing, sending the hips all the way up. Let's go ahead and bring the left palm down and then rotating our hips, bringing that left foot all the way forward. And I forget the name of this pose, but bringing the right fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. And here too, if you want to make some movement with your arms, maybe going in circles. And then reversing that movement. Whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and bring the right palm back down to the mat, rolling over onto our right toes. We're going to send that left leg all the way back up to a three-legged dog. Rolling forward, bending the left knee. Let's go ahead and bring that left foot forward. We're going to open this up to warrior two. Adjust the feet if you need to. Keep a generous bend in the left knee. Left knee should be pointing toward the left pinky toe. Flipping the left palm up to the ceiling, we're going to go ahead and reverse. Inhale back to center. Let's go ahead and straighten that left leg. And again, flipping the left palm, we're going to send that left arm up and over. Inhale back to center. Exhale, we're going to bring the left fingertips down to the mat, right fingertips go toward the ceiling. Inhale, come all the way back up to center. And then we're going to rotate that left foot the same direction as our right foot. Here, we're gonna go ahead and fold forward. So again, hinging from the hips. Here you can stay in a wide leg fold, maybe grabbing a hold of your ankles, or again, maybe trying some of the inversions that we did on the other side. If you want to gain some strength here, you can also do the movement of bringing the feet down, but not all the way, and then lifting them back up. So that's going to build strength in the core. And if you are in this inversion, let's go ahead and bring the feet all the way back down. Everyone meeting in a wide leg fold. Inhale, bring the hands to your waist, halfway lift, and then come all the way back up. Go ahead and meet back in warrior two. So we're going to put a bend in that left knee. And then we're going to windmill our hands down to the mat, sending that left foot back, and chaturanga. All right, let's go ahead and bend both knees. Hop, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, fingertips stretching toward the ceiling. And back bend. Exhale, fold. Interlace the fingers behind you, lifting the arms all the way up and over. Exhale, palms come down to the mat. Right foot goes back, left foot rolling forward, chaturanga. Soon as you're back in downward dog, let's send that right leg all the way back up. Let's go ahead and walk our hands to the left ankle, standing split. You can keep both hands down to the mat if you'd like, or bring that left hand to the left ankle, chest comes to the thigh, crown of head toward the floor, and we're extending that right leg all the way up. Very active pose here. Exhale, go ahead and walk the hands all the way back out. And then we're going to go ahead and bend the knee, rolling forward, bringing that right foot all the way between our hands, coming all the way up to a high lunge. So adjust the feet if you need to. Hips should be squared toward the front of the mat. The left leg should be straight. Heels should be facing toward the ceiling on that left foot. And then we're going to do a couple dips here. So to set us up, just making sure that your pelvic area is not out. We're facing it down and forward. And then extending the arms all the way up, creating length, reaching for the ceiling. And then we're going to dip that left knee down to the mat and come up. So let's do that a few times at your own pace. And then we're going to meet back in that high lunge. We're going to release the arms to our side. And here we're going to gracefully lean forward, pushing through that right foot, coming up to warrior three. Now, once you're here, after you have that set up, we're going to rotate the hips, squaring them to the mat, flexing that left foot. You can keep the arms in airplane or bring them to heart center or extend them all the way out in front of you. All right, inhale. Let's go ahead and come out of this, but don't drop that left foot. Kind of sweep it forward and then bring it all the way up. Taking your right hand, we're going to grab a hold of the outside edge of that left foot, extending the left arm out behind you. All right, let's go ahead and release. So bringing that left foot all the way down. Exhale, fold, chest to thigh. Inhale, palms come down to the mat. Right foot goes back, left foot, and chaturanga. Once we meet in that downward dog, we're going to go ahead and lift lift the left leg all the way up and walk the hands all the way to that right ankle. Again, here you can just keep the arms down if you need to, or bring the right hand to the right ankle, chest to thigh. Exhale, let's go ahead and walk the hands out, back to a three-legged dog. And then we're going to roll forward, bending the left knee, bringing that left foot all the way forward to a high lunge. Again, here, making sure that right leg is straight, hips are squared. And then we're going to take a couple dips here. So bending the right knee. And whenever you're ready, we'll meet back into that high lunge, releasing the arms to our side, rolling the shoulders back, opening up the chest. We're again creating length here. We're going to push through that left foot and gracefully come up to a warrior three. Rotating the hips, making sure they're squared down to the mat. Right leg is straight. Right foot is flexed to the floor, meaning the toes are pointing toward the floor. Airplane arms here, palms heart to center, or extend them. And whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and release the arms. And then we're going to kind of bring that right foot, swipe it all the way forward. And then take the left arm on the outside of that right foot, keeping it straight, keeping that leg straight. We're going to send the right arm back. Woo, my balance is always off on that side. All right. All right, let's go ahead and release, bringing the right foot all the way back down to the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, palms come down to the mat. And chaturanga. All right, let's go ahead and work on our back here for a little bit. So we're just going to kind of roll forward to a high plank. Once you're in this high plank, let's slowly let ourselves down onto our bellies. All right, once you're on your belly, let's go ahead and extend the arms out in front of us. Keeping the lower half of your body from your waist all the way down to your feet, keeping that grounded, we're going to lift the upper parts of our body. So our arms, our chest, our head. So on your next inhale, we're going to go ahead and lift. So it'll look like this. So let's do that a few times. Inhale and lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift again. And this time, let's hold. Exhale, release. Go ahead and roll your forehead to the left and to the right. Now we're going to go ahead and keep the upper part of our body flat to the mat while we lift everything from the waist down. So on your next inhale, let's go ahead and lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. This time when we inhale, we're going to hold for a little bit longer. Inhale, lift, and hold. Exhale, release. Now we're going to do everything all together. So we're lifting the top part of our bodies and the bottom. So on your next inhale, we're going to lift everything. So whenever you're ready, inhale and lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift, but this time we're going to hold. Exhale, release. Go ahead and roll your forehead to the left and to the right. Let's go ahead and bring our thighs a little bit closer together. And then we're going to bring our arms all the way back. Go ahead and bend the right knee, catching that right ankle with your right hand. Then we're going to go ahead and bend the left knee, catching the left ankle with the left hand. So here we're going to, again, go into some back bends. So on your next inhale, you're going to lift up through your chest, upper body, and then at the same time, you're kicking into your hands with your feet or ankles. So on your next inhale, let's go ahead and lift, keeping the feet flexed. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Really important here. Even with the movement, it's going to force you to roll your shoulders back, open up the chest, and then try to keep the knees pointing in the same direction. So we don't want them to go out to the sides. So on your next inhale, we're going to lift and hold it for a bit. So inhale, lift. You can even add some movement here if you want to rock forward and back. Exhale, release. Go ahead and just lay completely flat on the mat. Extend your left hand all the way out. And then taking your right palm, you're going to put it onto the mat and kind of push yourself to roll over that left arm, bringing your right foot flat to the mat, leaving the left leg straight. All right, let's go ahead and come back to center. And then we're going to extend the right arm all the way out, bringing the right ear down to the mat, bringing the left palm to the mat, and then pushing yourself to roll over that right arm. All right, let's come back to center. Let's go ahead and bring the palms right by our shoulders. Curl your toes under. And then on one breath, you're just going to push yourself up to a high plank. So on your next inhale or exhale, just go ahead and push yourself up to a high plank. Rolling forward, exhale, come to low plank, up dog, and push yourself back to downward dog. So here, maybe you've noticed that your hamstrings are a little bit more warmed up. You can create a little bit more length in the body, drawing the belly button in. What we're going to do now is kind of jump forward into a seated position. So what I like to do is, again, I always like to look at my thumbs. I bend my knees, and when I jump forward, I'm going to cross my ankles or shins, whichever, into a nice seated position. Oops, sorry. So once we're here, let's go ahead and kind of stretch out our neck. So taking your gaze all the way down to the mat in front of you, taking your right hand behind your head, you're going to just kind of push your head down a little bit. Inhale, go ahead and take your gaze to your right knee, and then taking your hand again and just kind of gently pushing your head down. Inhale, bring the head back to center, releasing the right palm down to your right knee. Go ahead and take your gaze down once again, taking your left hand, bring it all the way back, and just pushing your head down a little bit. Inhale, take your gaze over to your left knee, and again, just push the head down just a little bit. Inhale, come back to center. Go ahead and send your legs all the way out in front of you. And then extend your arms out in front of you, and then go ahead and roll back until you come all the way down on your back. Once you're down on your back, go ahead and bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug for showing up today. Go ahead and bring your arms out into a letter T, and then we're going to drop those knees to the right side of our bodies. Try to keep your shoulders down to the mat. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. Exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Take your gaze over to the right. Inhale, back to center. And now is a good time to do happy baby. So bringing the knees into your armpit, grabbing a hold of the bottoms of your feet. Try to keep that lower back flat to the mat. And here you can do a little bit of movement, maybe rocking to left to right, maybe opening up the legs. Or if you want to go a little bit further and try plow pose, that's fine too. Bring the legs together, bringing the hands down to the mat. You're going to push your legs up and over. Uh-oh, candles. So again, this is really good for neutralizing the back after we've worked on those back bends. In whichever position you are, happy baby, plow, let's go ahead and come all the way to a seated position somehow. So coming all the way up. So let's go ahead and close our eyes. Again, we'll come back to that position that we started in the beginning of class, where we're just relaxing our face, our shoulders. We're relaxing everything and just coming back to center here. Let's take a deep inhale and reach our arms all the way up, fingertips to the ceiling, palms to touch. And then let's go ahead and bring our palms to our third eye between our eyebrows. It is so great to have you guys here to practice. It's a beautiful thing when we can take time out of whatever we're doing, even if we're just sitting at home, to take care of our mind, our body, and our spirit. It's so important, especially during these times, to connect with you. Let's go ahead and bring our palm to heart center. And the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. I always like to remind you guys, I don't practice the Shavasana here, but after any kind of practice like this where you're working on the back, you're doing inversions, whatever your yoga practice is, it's always good to practice Shavasana. So laying down for maybe 10 minutes at least, closing your eyes, becoming extremely heavy, and just connecting with yourself and that energy that you've just cultivated in practice. Super duper important. This is a 45-minute class, so I kind of have to pack everything in. But thank you again for coming to class. Check out the schedule on House of Rhythm, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.